Goodful. I'm sure many of you have seen this channel pop up for me pretty recently in the last month or so. I've just seen like 1,000 of their videos. Maybe it's because I watched one and so now they're popping up everywhere. I don't know, but it's another like BuzzFeed channel, one of the thousands of like BuzzFeed, channels. Feel better, be better, and do better. Subscribe to Goodful for all your healthy self-care needs, from food to fitness and everything in between. They do a lot of vegan stuff, which is pretty cool. I tried to make vegan bacon out of carrots as one of the recent videos. Can vegan sushi satisfy a sushi lover? I tried making vegan scallops out of mushrooms. So it's a lot of that, taking these popular like meat substitutions and trying them out. So that's pretty neat. Again, I think I've seen one of them. I can't remember which one. So I don't know how good they are, honestly. But this video popped up, this video from a few days ago. Dietitian answers commonly asked questions about going vegan. And they have a dietitian, Delilah, and most of the video is good. It's really informative. She talks about, the protein combining myth, that you have to combine protein at every meal, right? So you can't just eat whole wheat. You need to eat whole wheat and peanut butter, something like that. It's not really true. I mean, we commonly eat that way anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But as long as you're eating a variety of food like throughout the day, you don't have to eat foods with certain, higher amounts of lysine with this, it doesn't really matter. She also talks about eating vitamin C rich foods with iron rich foods to improve absorption. She says that soy is healthy, and she talks about the difference between like isoflavone and estrogen. Very cool. That B12 supplementation is necessary. And she's just really nice. The end of the video, she talks about don't be too hard on yourself, transitioning, try, move at your own pace, try just changing one thing about your day, even if it's just switching from like, cow's milk to almond milk or something, and just to be nice. She's really, really nice. It's nice. But there are some problems. There are quite a few problems, things that are just totally factually inaccurate, or things that are stated more authoritatively than they should be based on the evidence. And all of this stuff is just like easily verified information, or it is from other registered dietitians. Just wanted to say that because I'm not a registered dietitian, so it's like, who am I to say anything? But again, you can find out all this information from mainstream sources and from other vegan RDs as well.
Refined carbs are not very helpful to our body because, one, they're missing out on the fiber and they're missing out on B vitamins.
So this is one of those that's just easy to verify for yourself, or easy to falsify for yourself. Many refined carbs like bread and pasta do have B vitamins because they're fortified with B vitamins. She's right about fiber, but I don't know why she would say B vitamin, because that's like the one thing that they do have, right? That's like one of the things that they're fortified with. Actually, I compared white and wheat bread per like large slice in Chronometer. They're very similar on B vitamins, with white bread actually having more B1, B2, B3, and folate. But yeah, don't like rely on refined carbs. It's not good for you. They don't have very many nutrients. Probably pretty bad for your teeth too, right? Bacteria on your teeth really love sugar, so limit your sugar.
Actually, research has suggested that people who drink more milk have more bone fractures. The high protein content in milk, it creates an acidic environment in our body, and our body has to bring our insides back to normal. So in order to do that, it needs a buffer, and it gets that buffer from calcium. And where is all the calcium stored in our body? In our bones.
So there are two claims here, both of which are wrong. First, she says people who drink more milk have more bone fractures. This is not supported by the totality of the evidence. According to this 2018 meta-analysis, studies are inconsistent and possibly unreliable, so it's impossible to draw any conclusion on milk and hip fractures. It seems unlikely that milk consumption increases fracture rates, but it also seems unlikely that milk consumption significantly decreases rates either. Second, the idea that eating animal protein causes calcium excretion and as a result causes your body to leach calcium from your bones. This is like a decades-old myth that we've known is a myth now for quite a number of years. It was debunked a long time ago. Even Dr. Michael Greger has a video from 2013 saying, no, animal protein does not leach calcium from your bones. Yes, more protein, a higher protein diet does lead to more calcium being excreted in the urine, but there's no evidence that this causes your body to take calcium from your bones. But she is right that you don't need dairy to meet calcium needs. Obviously, fortified non-dairy milks and calcium-set tofu and dark leafy greens. Well, some dark leafy greens.
Plants give you just enough calcium, particularly the dark green leafy vegetables such as kale, collards, broccoli, spinach, etc.
Spinach should not be included on this list. It does have some calcium, but it also has a lot of oxalate. Oxalate binds to calcium, thereby reducing absorption.
So when it comes to soy, you want to try to prioritize the more wholesome forms, edamame and tempeh, because the soy is still in the whole bean form. Tofu is a great option as well. It's a little bit more processed.
Tofu is technically processed, but like very minimally so. It's just coagulated soy milk. It's not really what we think of when we think of processed foods, right? Like junk foods and white bread and stuff like that. I mean, at that point, it's like, well, like everything is processed. Tempeh is processed then, right? Because you have to remove, the hull of the soybean is typically removed before it's, fermented. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about processed. And if you compare them per calorie, tofu and tempeh, they're very similar nutritionally. They both have a lot of nutrients. They're by no means a processed food in the way that we think of processed foods. Tempeh does have more fiber, but that doesn't really matter for vegans. We're eating, like everything else we eat has fiber. So it's virtually impossible not to get enough fiber on a vegan diet unless you're just living on mock meats. So me. This isn't really a big deal. Eat tofu or don't, it doesn't really matter. I just don't want people to think that tofu is processed and therefore unhealthy, which, I mean, that already is kind of a popular myth, right? That like soy is bad, don't eat tofu, only eat the fermented stuff, right? Like only eat tempeh and natto, whatever. When in reality, like they're both fine. Eat tempeh, eat tofu, or don't. I don't eat tempeh. It's nasty, but I like tofu.
And with the imitation meats, try to limit them to be just occasional additions to your meal because they tend to be much higher in sodium and potentially preservatives as well.
Preservatives are in foods for a reason. They extend the life of the food, which reduces food waste, good thing, and also prevents contamination by bacteria. There is virtually no evidence that common preservatives used in like typical small amounts in foods is harmful. The only one that there's real evidence for, suggesting harm is nitrate in processed meats, which not really a concern for vegans. Also, and I do this too, I just say like mock meats, but really all mock meats are fairly different. I mean, you have ones that are just gluten, you have ones that are all soy, which are going to be better in terms of like protein quality. You have some that are a mix of gluten and soy, and then you also have ones that are like covered in breading and like fried, right? So you've got some sort of nugget type thing versus like the tofurkey kielbasa, which is just gluten and tofu. It's not even, soy protein isolate. It's actually tofu, pretty cool, and canola oil, and then like spices. It does have a fair amount of salt, but when paired, like what I would like to do is make it with, whole wheat pasta or one of the plant protein, mixed pastas, one of those, and like vegetables. This seems pretty healthy to me.
Most Americans today get it from eating animal foods. Now, it's not actually in the animal flesh itself, but when animals eat their food, there's dirt on it. So that's actually how they're getting their B12.
Isn't that like saying like phosphorus isn't in the plant itself, but when the plant grows, it's in the soil? It's pretty nonsensical. I mean, obviously B12 is in the flesh of the animal. That's why when we eat beef, we get B12, right? I think what she's trying to say is that cows get their B12 from bacteria, right? They get it elsewhere, so we can get it elsewhere, so we don't have to eat cows to get B12, which is true. Also, just, FYI, cows don't, and other animals don't just get B12 from dirt. Cows in particular do have bacteria that produce it in their intestines. Also, a lot of animals eat shit, which is a pretty good source.
If you're doing the daily supplement, make sure you're getting it in the methylated form, and that's because it is much easier for your body to absorb.
There's very little evidence comparing methylcobalamin to cyanocobalamin, and it's inconsistent. What we do know is that cyanocobalamin is well studied, it's safe, it's effective, and it is cheaper than methylcobalamin. There's no reason to choose methylcobalamin over cyanocobalamin unless you have been instructed to by a doctor. And if you do choose the methylated form, remember that the dose is higher than cyanocobalamin.
Our body converts ALA to DHA. As long as you regularly consume omega-3 rich foods, you are going to be okay.
She does go on to say that you can take a vegan DHA supplement if you want to, but to say that, basically you don't have to worry about it as long as you eat enough, flax, chia, hemp, walnut, whatever, you will meet your EPA and DHA needs. That's not exactly true. We know that conversion rates vary, and this, might have something to do with like age and even gender. And research on this, on DHA and health, is still in its infancy. We don't really know how much we need, and we certainly don't know that vegans are safe as long as they eat enough chia and flax. That's why other dietitians recommend, to be safe, to take a DHA or an EPA and DHA supplement. Jack Norris, vegan registered dietitian Jack Norris from veganhealth.org, he recommends, of course, first to meet your ALA needs. You can't just eat DHA. It is important to meet your omega-3 needs. And then in addition to that, either take a DHA supplement or increase the amount of ALA you consume so that you have more to convert to EPA and DHA. I personally take DHA still sporadically. I'm trying to get better about it because, I'm seeing more dietitians, vegan dietitians, saying that they are taking it. When I was pregnant, I did take it regularly, and my kids take it regularly, but I don't know, I guess I don't care enough about myself. Anyway, I guess that's it. I'll say again, I referenced a lot of dietitians and whatnot, primarily veganhealth.org and the veganrd.com. Those are my two favorite sources in terms of vegan information, vegan nutrition. They are both keen on following the evidence, and they aren't tied to any particular way of eating vegan, right? Low fat or low carb or anything like that. They just focus on eating a balanced vegan diet and meeting nutrient needs. The veganhealth.org daily needs page is very, very useful. And Jenny Messina of the veganrd.com, she has a bunch of great nutrition primers. She has an iron one, a calcium one, protein one, I think a zinc one. Those are really good as well. And that's the video. Those were all of the things. For the most part, it's things that I've heard before by other vegans and vegan educators. So I'm not surprised that, even a dietitian would say like the, alkaline balance, calcium and bones and all that stuff. Methylcobalamin, right? A lot of vegans are very concerned about cyanocobalamin, either because of the cyanide or because they think that methylcobalamin is for sure, more effective, better absorbed. Anti-preservative, also very common. And spinach for calcium is something I still see all the time as well. So nothing too surprising, but yeah, I think we've still got a way to go in terms of making good vegan nutrition among the more vocal dietitians and vegan educators. Just more common, unfortunately, a lot of the voices are still inaccurate on things like calcium and low fat as well. She didn't promote low fat or anything like that in the video, which that made me very happy. And that's dying too, though, right? What I'm trying to think of like really big like vegan YouTubers who eat like high carb, low fat, like really low fat. I think Hannah, what's her name? High Carb Hannah. I think she's back to doing that, right? She stopped for a little while, but now she's doing it again. Freely, of course, but I don't think anyone listens to Freely anymore. Yeah, I think everyone else stopped, right? Like we all stopped either a long time ago or fairly recently. I think yeah, we're all done with that. So yeah, good news. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, support the channel, patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. And I will have a new video soon-ish, maybe. In your urine. Oh, okay. I'm moving my arm so much that it set off my thing. I'm walking, guys. Yay, 8,000 steps. Wait, really? Oh, wait, no, I did go for a walk for today. Yeah, I worked out and then I took the kids for a walk. Right. Really short walk, too. So, like, what? How do I have that many? Whatever. These things are like, they're fun, but, you know, who gives a shit? Anyway,